Let's talk a little bit about mortgages, and then Dan's going to ask you a question.
I read.
Ready?
All right, we are back on the Morning Brew with friends. We got Greg and Alex joining us. And just quickly, you guys ended up, you got a new boss. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it was not something I anticipated, but when I spoke with Greg, I spoke with Jim, and the brand that Berkshire Hathaway represents, I had to look more into it, and now here we are. So.
Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett's company, which is the best way to kind of describe it, Warren Buffett's overall company, acquired your real estate firm here in Albuquerque.
Yes.
And that's like big news.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I'm still, I think it's starting to sink in now, and just had a great response from the community and just everyone in general. So.
How does that phone call go? I mean, did Warren Buffett call you up and say, hey, well, do you want to buy your company? Or did you get or was it this long-term thing and then Warren Buffett called?
No, well, I think Warren, Mr. Buffett is a bit too busy to be calling the likes of me, but it was ongoing, probably about 5 or 6 months worth of negotiations, and once things came to terms, it just smooth sailing from there. So.
That's cool. And Greg, you had something to do with helping Alex making all this happen?
Alex and Alex's family and me and my family have been close for a long time, and so I kind of moved the impetus a little bit. I just kind of go to
give him the next first down.
Yeah, they're giving him a little shove, and trying to. Because I believe in the Berkshire. Who doesn't want to be associated with Warren Buffett's company?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, that's very cool. So how is business right now? Is it strong? Is it growing? Are you guys finding, both of you guys are in similar businesses? Are you guys seeing that?
It's fragile right now. Okay. I think fragile's a good word. And we're having our good months, and then we fall back a little bit.
Well, when you two are sitting around and you guys are just having beers or having coffee together, what are the things that you guys talk about when you get worried? What are the things that you guys...
Trying to get millennials into the marketplace.
Is that it? You're a millennial.
He's a millennial.
Yeah, we're a hard market to tie down. We like to be fluid. We don't like to commit too much. I'm kind of the polar opposite. I like stability in real estate, but the new era of wanting to travel and not have a house as a home, the American dream is a bit different than it was.
Right. You don't want to. A lot of people, especially younger people, don't want to buy. They want to, they want to feel like they can kind of pick up and go when they want, when that job comes or that relationship happens or something, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think especially job mobility. Job mobility is something, especially in Albuquerque right now. We're seeing an outflow of intellectual talent from Albuquerque going to other marketplaces,
right?
And so the millennials here aren't really inclined to sink their roots just yet.
Right.
And that has
been the case. Do you think it's millennials, or do you think it's just across the board in Albuquerque right now? Because I talk to people who are certainly older than millennials who have a little bit of malaise about it too. Are you seeing that in the marketplace too?
Well, everything starts with a first-time home buyer, and that's the millennial. And as the first-time home buyers come into the marketplace, they acquire properties that are already in the marketplace, and then those people acquire properties, and then those people whose properties were acquire properties, and it percolates up. Yeah. Okay, but it all starts with the first-time home buyer.
Yeah, and is that where your focus has been, or are you guys trying to kind of move away from that because that's not where the market is?
No, with real estate, I mean, you have to be multifaceted. So of course you want to focus on your first-time buyers, you want to focus on your investors, you want to focus on, anything that really is hot at the time, but all across the board, you have to be pretty open to what the market commands and be ready for it. So.
No doubt. Well, I know that last week we were all worried, and I'm glad you're back today because the Federal Reserve Board met last week, and
who said what about that?
And you said that they were not going to do anything, and I was thinking, nah, these guys. It's been 6 years, like record low interest rates. They're going to raise rates. I was pretty sure of that. And Greg called it. They're meeting again today, too. What do you think is going to happen?
They just talked today. They're not going to do anything today. If they do anything at all, it'll happen in December, before the end of the year, sending a signal to the markets. We anticipate that the Fed is going to start raising, and when they do, they'll raise 0.25% every 3 months, and they'll get the Fed funds rate up to 2.5% over 5 years. And it'll come just like that.
Well, I know the target they're trying to get at is 2% inflation.
Correct.
And that's I guess right now we're not quite there yet.
Not close. We're 1.45 in inflation. and there's got to be a certain amount of inflation to have the economy be robust.
Right.
And we just haven't had it. Prices have not gone up, wages have not gone up, and so inflation has not gone up.
Right.
Okay, we're in a lull.
Well, doesn't that make buying a house a good investment? Because generally, what the rule is, what is it, 3% a year on a house?
That's the rule, and we've actually experienced that over the last 20 years, even with the 2005 to 2012 period of time.
Right.
We've still experienced 3% per year.
So if inflation is only like 1.5%, does that mean that if real estate is beating even regular inflation now?
Yeah,
Is that a good way to look at it, or is that kind of like my layman's way of looking at real estate?
It's a simplified way, but it's not inappropriate.
Yeah.
It's a home has always been a great, solid investment.
Yeah.
If you look at the net worth of the population of the United States, most of the net worth of the population of the United States is in its homes. Mm-hmm. The ownership, home ownership, contributes to a high net worth. We've got a higher net worth than most of the other Western industrialized nations, and the reason for that is home ownership.
Right. So what did you think about the new GDP numbers? I know you're a student of this stuff.
Oh,
The new GDP.
I don't think as much of the new GDP numbers as I will of the revised GDP numbers that we'll get.
Well, the one we have now is the revised numbers from the April, May, June quarter.
Okay.
And it says it's up 10%. Up 3.7% at $10 billion, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And that sounds great. I mean, does that actually translate, though, on the ground into people having money for things like homes?
Depends on where that domestic product was manufactured.
Right. Not here in New Mexico, that's for sure.
That's right, and that's our problem.
Right.
That's our problem. We're lagging behind the rest of the nation.
Yeah, yeah. Were folks in your business worried about the government shutdown? Was that a thing? Because I know that, we were talking about that a little bit in the headlines, that people were worried that if the government did shut down, of course, every federal employee wouldn't get their paycheck, right? So did you see a slowdown? Were people worried, or?
Well, I think whenever you get that type of mass announcement throughout the nation, it makes everyone a little apprehensive to do anything.
A little bit leery.
Yeah. So it was a little feisty there for a bit, but things started to level out. So
that's good. So why did you guys decide to pull the trigger on the merger now? What was it? Was it just it's Warren Buffett's company and he doesn't knock on your door every day, so you gotta?
That was a huge starting point, but just the brand, what it represents, the network of what it represents, and the opportunity to grow at such a fast level. I thought, and Rhino Realty could have gotten to 200-300 agents, but it would have taken me 20 years.
Right.
And why reinvent the wheel when I can deal with it now?
Let some other guy who's already figured it out show you how to do it.
Yeah, and enjoy the people and great people like Greg. So
that sounds like a plan to me. We'll be back in a couple of seconds with our buddy Russell Coombs. You know Russell from West, and he's going to tell us about how entrepreneurs can thrive in Albuquerque on the Morning Brew.